Morning. We just parked up at Lonscale below Latrigg and Skiddaw, where we've left the car park. We've dropped down onto the Cumbria Way. We're going to cross Whit Beck just up here, head round the valley, where today we're going to do the quiet side of Skiddaw. We're going to head up Burnt Horse, beautiful ridge, onto Lonscale Fell, and then onto Little Man. Just me and the Rockstar today. Drop down the Cumbria Way path here and ford Whit Beck, and then start heading up the other side and round that corner. The weather forecast was a bit sporadic. It was given the best chance of a clear summit in the north, so that's why we chose Skiddaw. I'm looking over to the east and the south, and it's pretty clagged up over that way. Beautiful up here at the moment, so let's hope it stays that way. That's Cloughhead across the way there. The sun's about to rise, and as you can see, the valley down towards Helvellyn is very claggy. The northwestern fells are clear, beautiful behind us up to Graceful Pike there. So you basically just want to keep following the Cumbria Way until we hit the bottom of the ridge heading up Burnt Horse, where we'll take a left and start heading up that way. Over the valley there we've got Lonscale Fell, heading up onto Blencathra. We've got a bit of mist on there at the moment. The sun's just starting to rise over Cloughhead. So we're in the valley now, that one with the long name that I can never pronounce, so I won't bother trying. Just above us there we've got the crags of Lonscale Fell. Absolute beautiful valley this. You can walk up either side of it. The other side would take you up to the Mungrisdale Common and round the back of Blencathra, and like I say, this side will eventually take you to Skiddaw House. And right at the end of the valley, the Uldale Fells and the Callbeck Fells. I'm starting to think that we might get an inversion today. That thick clag that I mentioned earlier over the top of Helvellyn is starting to lower. It's still high above the mountains, but it's definitely coming down. It's probably sitting at about 1,000 meters at the moment. So who knows, hopefully that sun will push it down. Lonscale Pike to our left, a bit misted up, and this ridge is the ridge of Burnt Horse, our route up there. That's where we're going to leave the Cumbria Way, about 1/4 of a mile further up. So as you can see, the valley's starting to flatten off now. Just in the bottom there, there's an area on the map called the Stake, with a footpath that will take you up to eventually the Mungrisdale Common. Just on the ridge there at the top you can see the Cloven Stone, and just up here by this next gate is where we're going to take that left and start heading up this wall and this ridge, Burnt Horse. plod away up the fence and wall, and eventually you'll reach a summit. Burnt Horse, it has its own summit, it's a singe. Over to my right, where that outcrop of woodland is, that's Skiddaw. And just here, where we cross the stile, is the very insignificant summit of Burnt Horse. Good boy. The weather's blew in and it's going to be grotty. I think it's going to be another of them atmospheric kind of days. So here is more or less the summit of Burnt Horse, 570 metres, and it's a singe. Keep following the fence, and at the end of the ridge we'll drop down into a steep col. The breeze is blowing in, it's on and off, probably between 15 and 25 mile an hour. I think it's going to be windy on the top. It's absolutely Baltic here. Time to get some gear on, I think. That's the valley we just came up. Drop off the end of Burnt Horse here and then steeply back up the other side of the col. Oh, the pull up here is relentless. But we're nearly there. Once you hit the fence at the top, a little further up here is Wainwright's summit of Lonscale Fell, the true summit, the highest point. But we're going to go and head for the Burkitt summit first, Lonscale Pike. We're going to stay this side of the fence and follow this sketchy path. From the corner of the fence here, we're going to turn left and head over to Lonscale Pike. You might be wondering why I've incorporated Lonscale Pike. It's an absolute fantastic view, and I was hoping it may be clear, but I don't think it's gonna. The view north and east is absolutely fantastic. Lonscale Pike is the end of the ridge. It's a cliff face, you can't get any further. I'm sure it will be a fantastic place for a wild camp, considering you're going to get an amazing sunrise, and you'll probably get a sunset from up here as well. And here we are, Lonscale Pike, 703 metres, and this is as far as you can go. Right off the end here is a cliff face, and that view on a good day is absolutely incredible. Take my word for it. If you're ever up here on a good day, get yourself over to Lonscale Pike. And Lonscale Pike, by the way, is a Burkitt. Right, we'll head back down that fence and up to Lonscale Fell's true summit. We're going to cross over the fence now. It's all broken down, so there's plenty of opportunities to get over, because the true summit is on this side, and then from the true summit we're going to head for Skiddaw's little man. And here we are, through the mist here is Lonscale Fell's true summit, 715 metres. It's a Wainwright, a Burkitt, a Hewitt and a Nuttall. It's got quite a big cairn here, you can't really miss it. There you go. We'll head over Jenkin Hill, Lesser Man, to the summit of Little Man. But you just never know, do you? It keeps trying to clear, but I don't know. We'll see. Little Man's a lot higher, so you just never know. That sun's trying its hardest. If it breaks, the temperature will rise. We could get something spectacular. And here we have the summit of Jenkin Hill. Blink and you'll miss it. 735 metres. It's another Burkitt. And from here, we're going to hit the main Skiddaw path and head up onto Lesser Man. Here we have Skiddaw's Lesser Man, 815 metres. Another Burkitt. And here we have Skiddaw's Little Man, 865 metres. It's a Wainwright, a Burkitt, a Hewitt, a Nuttall. I'm going to plough on across the ridge. I'm going to head for the summit and I'm going to try and get through this cloud. We're going to cross the ridge and head for the summit of Skiddaw. Try and get through this cloud. You never know. God loves a tryer. We've two lesser summits to pass first. The south summit and the middle summit. Two more Burkitts before we hit the true summit, which is obviously a Burkitt as well. Here's the first one, the south top, 925 metres. We'll head through the mist to the middle top. Here's the middle top, 928 metres. It's another Burkitt, not far now to Skiddaw's true summit. The ridge is trying its hardest to clear as we approach the summit of Skiddaw. We can't get any higher, so if we don't get out the cloud up here, it's not going to happen, but it's trying its hardest. I've had a few glimpses of Bass and Thwaite down below us to our left, and also some glimpses across the back of Skiddaw. Wow, look at this. It's just cleared as I've hit the summit. There's Bass and Thwaite. Skiddaw's summit, 931 metres. It's Wainwright, Burkitt, a Hewitt, a Nuttall and a Madeline. Wind chill up here is absolutely savage. It's going to be at least -10, -15. It is Baltic. And right on the end of the ridge here is Skiddaw's north top, 922 metres, and it's also a Burkitt. There you go. And look at that view! Wow! That's Broad End down there, and Bakestall, and the west across the Solway Firth. We need to get off here. We're going to head across the ridge the way we came and down Skiddaw's tourist path. That summit is the coldest place I've been in the last 12 months. Absolutely savage. Our route down, we can bypass Little Man, head round the side of it, through this gate here, and this path will take us back round to the gate below Little Man, where we were earlier. The ridge to our left here is the ridge of Skiddaw. It drops you all the way down to Skiddaw House. It's another great route up and down Skiddaw. I've done it many times. And up there to our right is Little Man, where we were earlier. You can see someone in the distance there just coming down along the fence. That's where we're heading. That's the junction back down Skiddaw's tourist path. We're back at the gate now below Little Man with Jenkin Hill and Lonscale Fell, where we came from earlier, to our left. Obviously Little Man to our right. We're going to head through the gate and straight down the path in front of us. As we're dropping back out of the mist, we're starting to get a nice view of Derwent Water, Keswick below us. So I'm looking right down across Latrigg now. Our car park's just down there in the bottom. Obviously Derwent Water and the Borrowdale Valley behind it. Behind Latrigg we've got Waller Crag, Clough Head. In the Clag we've got the Dodds and Rays, eventually Helvellyn. Not looking much better than it did early this morning. If it was cold on Skiddaw, it would have been even colder on Helvellyn today. Well, we're only about 15 minutes from the car now, so I'm going to wrap the video up. In total, by the time we get down there, we'll have done about 10 miles. Fantastic route, something a little different on Skiddaw, a nice quiet route incorporating that ridge of burnt horse. Yeah, a lot of summits today, 10 summits. We weren't going to originally go to the summit of Skiddaw, but we really wanted to break through that cloud, and we persisted, and we did eventually get through it, even if it was just briefly. So yeah, I'm going to wrap the video up here and say thank you for watching, thank you for subscribing. It's goodbye from me, and goodbye from the rock star, who's done absolutely awesome again. So look who's back, waiting at the gate for us. Tangerina. She's been on an extended Christmas break, visiting relatives in Florida. Suppose you'll be wanting back in my pocket now, are you? Okay. So today's walk starts above Underscar at Skiddaw's Gale Road car park. Leaving the car park, we cross Whit Beck and head down the Cumbria Way in the direction of Skiddaw House. Before reaching Skiddaw House, we took a sharp left and started heading up the ridge of Burnt Horse. Crossing the summit of Burnt Horse, we then steeply head for Lonscale Pike, and then Lonscale Fell. Leaving Lonscale Fell, we head over to Jenkin Hill and then steeply up to the summits of Lesser Man and Little Man. We then head for the summit of Skiddaw, crossing the south top, middle top, true summit and north top. Then traced our steps back, bypassing Little Man and Lesser Man, dropping down Skiddaw's well-known tourist route and back to the car.